Welcome to Live at Ma-kai-rah's house. Today we're going to be talking about guitars, and to help us do that, we've brought in world-renowned guitar player Marc Cooper. And we're excited to hear his story about how he's had some challenges in his life and his walk of faith, of how he's dealt with it. And I'm real curious to hear about his guitar history and what he's done as a career, and so welcome. Today we're going to be playing a couple tunes. The fun part about getting everybody together is we're going to do one of Marc's songs called One Step Over the Line, and then we're going to force him into playing one of our songs called Blue Sky Blues.
All right!
Hey, I made it!
What's happening, Marc? Hey!
We're live already.
Oh, man. Thank
See
you.
you, man.
Sorry that it took me a little bit longer than I expected.
Give me some love, man.
You know Peter?
Good
Yeah,
man.
that was
Long time no
Everybody,
see.
so
Yeah.
Peter's our keyboard player.
Of course.
Hey, man.
Good to see you, brother.
This is
See
Paul.
you.
He's
You know me.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
brother.
All right, real
Yeah.
pleasure. All right.
And then we got our new secret weapon here.
Oh, new secret
Kenny's
weapon.
our new sax player.
Oh, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Hey,
Yeah.
hug it up.
All right.
All right, there we go. I like that.
Then we got Samantha.
I have the secret weapon.
Yeah.
I am so
little
happy
angels,
to see
man.
you all. You guys are amazing.
Thank you so
So
much.
that's Samantha, that's Diamond, and this is Charlie.
Nice
Yes,
to meet you.
it's
Oh, I'm so excited. I feel like I'm home again.
That's right.
This is good. So I got a few toys. Let me just bring a couple of toys.
Okay.
Oh man, here we go. Woohoo! Oh my gosh. I'm feeling real home now. Look at this. Oh!
You didn't even need to bring any guitars.
Welcome to the house.
Yeah, you really didn't need to bring guitars today.
No.
To put you here, we're going to
Okay,
get this
sure.
amp out.
Okay.
Do you need to use the facility?
Hey, I do.
It's been a long trip, huh?
It has been a long trip, but I'm still gawking though. This is really great.
We're not. We can keep talking, but see, it's
Oh,
all about guitars today.
oh,
I wore this in
come on.
honor of you, and just so you know,
You know, I would have wore my guitar pants then. You know?
you should have. But just
I
so
do.
just so you know.
Ah, here we go.
Oh
Ah.
no! Just so you know, it's all about guitars. Then I thought you'd feel right at home.
That is the best. Is that a Martin or is it a Taylor?
Toilet seat.
This is so cool. This is really, really cool.
Welcome to Live at Ma-kai-rah's house again, and I'm sitting here with Marc Cooper, and what a blessing to see you, my friend, and
thank
come
you
in
so
to
much.
share your talent with Ma-kai-rah and be live at Ma-kai-rah's house. And I was just thinking about, you know, for the audience, I kind of look at you as one of those guys. You ever see that movie 20 Feet from Stardom? And so, you know,
I understand exactly what you're saying.
So I've read your bio, and I look at all these famous names, and then I say, Marc Cooper's coming. Well, who's Marc Cooper?
Sure.
So anyway,
I've had an interesting career of being able to. I kind of feel like I'm Forrest Gump. Forrest, you see him in every situation where he's with famous presidents. He's with all kinds of stars. It's like, who the heck's Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
And that's happened to me many times in my life.
So,
But I have been blessed to be able to get to see how many great musicians have operated. And sometimes it's a good learning curve, just life lessons. Things that you see, you go, well, okay, you know, hugely successful, but I may not want to adopt that lifestyle, for instance.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting. It's been an interesting career, and I've been blessed to be able to play music all my life.
yeah, that's something in itself, just to be able to do that. So Marc,
Yeah.
I wanted to introduce you to Titus Gall. He's part of our extended Ma-kai-rah family.
Titus. Nice to
But
meet
we call
you,
him
my friend.
we call him Stretch.
I'm just gonna say,
We call him Stretch.
when I'm looking up, then I know that someone's waiting.
So anyway,
That's awesome.
This is his collection. So I
Oh,
thought
this
This is the room. This is my man.
This is
Okay.
his man cave. So
Absolutely.
there's a couple guitars I
you
thought
have
it'd be
to,
cool to show you because he's even got the Jeff Beck signature guitar. So anyway, what
Now
we
you're
got going
killing
on?
me. Now you're killing me. Look
I
at
know.
this.
Check this out. This is genuine Gibson 1983.
No.
One of the very few that has a bolt-on neck. With a
Dude.
nitrocellulose finish, as you can tell by the
Look,
cracks.
yeah.
We need you.
It goes along with the theme of the oddball guitar.
heaven.
You know, it's like a Tiesco deal, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
just very,
But a genuine Gibson.
but a
no
genuine
less.
Gibson. Wow.
Then we have the special stuff behind the curtain we got to go look at.
You have spent some time. Oh, dude. Ouch, that is gorgeous.
Is that a nice piece?
Oh man, this is an unusual piece.
It is.
You don't see this very often. Built.
And then the JB.
Oh. Oh man, dude. This is the baseball bat that he's used to having too.
I'm telling you.
That's
it's-
totally
even
baseball
the pickups are wound to his spec.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, he knows his way around a Strat. doesn't
Woo. Oh.
he? You think?
He is my all-time fave of all. You know, I got a lot of favorites, but he is my number one. I have a bucket list, and he's definitely on my list. Before I die, I will play with that man. That will happen.
That would
Cool.
be
Yes.
something really special.
Yes, I'll need your camera crew for that one, though.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Gee, Mark, would you happen to have a guitar that's kind of special? Or?
Well, hey, let me. Now that we're yakking about guitars, this is my signature series. Brian Moore, under my name, of course, but I was really honored. I was super honored in 2012. I started endorsing these guys around 2000, and by 2012, I got this call one day, and he says, "I think it's time that we start making your signature series."
Wow.
And I went, "Really? Are you serious?" Yeah. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm very serious." So I feel extremely blessed.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, and it was a shock. I need to say something. The first time I ever met you, didn't know who you were, and we were doing Praise in the Mountains, and one of the bands that came in, and there was some people that were had a get together because her father had died. He was a military guy, and he had died, and their little celebration of life was right there in the park where we were just getting ready to do a concert. So they came over and asked us if somebody could sing Amazing Grace, and it was before the concert even started and whatever, and talking to Frank says, well, I got this Marc Cooper and he can do about anything. So I just remember you got up and sang Amazing Grace and put your whole heart in it, and it was just out of your love for, we didn't even know the people, and it was such a moving time.
I remember that. That was fun.
And it was just a really neat experience for me, and then when I found out who you were and what you did, I thought, well, how humbling a guy, could play about anything, would just sing Amazing Grace to a grieving family out there in the middle of a park, in the middle of a hot day in nowhere. And from then on, I thought, man, Mark's a pretty neat guy.
I had never even known. I live in Redding, California, and I didn't know anything about Redding. But I was living in Toronto at the time, and they kept having this church that would come up when we were in Toronto doing some worship, and had all these great conferences, and all of these worship leaders were coming up from a church in Redding called Bethel.
Yeah.
So they kept saying, hey, you need to come down to our church and do worship and speak and stuff like that. And I did, and little did I realize that I was going to meet my wife there.
No, I didn't know you were there.
So 22, here we are 22 years later, and I moved to Redding. Well, the first time I played in the summer thinking, oh, this is going to be wonderful. I'm playing in California again. This is really great. The first day I played, it was 110 degrees. I melted, and my gear melted along with me. Yeah.
I think our audience is real curious on who have you played with, and tell us a little bit about your guitar history and what it all is about.
I've been very fortunate to be able to play with some terrific people. Joe Walsh from the Eagles, for instance. That was a great learning curve. One of my favorite experiences that was also absolutely terrifying was playing with Danny Gatton. 1987 Guitar Player magazine said the world's greatest unknown guitar player, because nobody knew who he was. And yet then he became extremely famous because of his just sheer amazing talent. Some of the other terrific people that I played with, I grew up loving Yes, and when I got to play with Steve Howe in London, that was an amazing, experience. Alphonso Johnson, Carmine Appice from Vanilla Fudge. I mean, I played with Jeff Beck, and I mean, these were guys that I had records of in the '60s that I was like, I just want to be these dudes one day. And sometime later on in life, I got to play with them. Amen. Which was really great. Got to play with several of the great musicians from Prince's band. Probably my scariest experience, though, was in 2004 in Nashville. I was asked to play for Les Paul. And I'm telling you, for a man that was in his 90s at that moment, it's like, what do you do that will impress him?
Yeah.
And it's also on the other side of it, I've also done Christian music and worship and things like that. So, working with people like Bob Fitz and Kevin Prosh and, just amazing talents over the years. Bishop Joseph Garlington, Don Potter, who produced all the Judd's records, and Winona and Willie Nelson and everything like that. I mean, these are guys that are sold out for God.
Wow.
Because I have a huge love for gospel. I grew up in the church, up in Canada. It started my passion for gospel music. And what actually made me decide to do music is I went to Germany and lived and became a missionary, actually, for Brother Andrew, smuggling Bibles into communist countries.
Wow.
In the 70s. And they said, hey, we need a band for our college in Germany to tour all the American Army bases and the Canadian Army bases throughout Europe. So I was 18 years of age, and I, put a band together with an upright bass player and 2 guitars and 2 girls, and we toured all the Army bases, and the soldiers loved us. That was really fun. It was like not.
Or 18-year-old too.
Yeah, and it was it fueled the passion for me. So as soon as I came back in the mid '70s, I went and saw a band called Second Chapter of Acts and a band called Lamb. Yeah. And as soon as I saw Second Chapter of Acts, I went, I want to be that guitar player. Fast track. 8 years later, 5 years later, I'm moving from Canada to Los Angeles. But what was interesting is I started a Christian rock band at that time, kind of like Koinonia and Seawind at the time. It was 1981, living in Los Angeles. And the keyboard player, who went on to be the keyboard player in Arsenio Hall's comedy show that he had on television, her name was Star Ferroti. Her boyfriend at the time, she said, you need to meet my boyfriend. And my hand started shaking because it was the guitar player from Second Chapter of Acts who I said I wanted to be 5 years later. The reason I mention that story is because it's interesting to me that sometimes God puts you on a path and you don't even realize you're on the path. But I think what it encouraged me was to realize that God was excited about me doing music. Amen. And he showed me that path because I just thought it was a passion within me. Yeah. But when he confirmed it, that it was something to do, I was excited to, go on that journey.
That's awesome.
All right.
I've been Sans Girls for like 15 and a half years. Yeah. So it's been a long time. It's been a long time for me.
All you got to do is give them the music and let them ride in the car for 10 minutes.
Yeah, they got it.
That's awesome.
Alright.
Yeah, just take one, just sing.
1, 2, 3.
I've been living one step over the line. So far gone, I've almost lost my mind. Now I know my future laid out black and white. Like a bat out of hell, I sail off into the light. my time. So now I'm asking for a reason. Even the seasons change in time. I can see my destination, see it right here in my mind. Yeah. Well, I've been looking for a promised land. Got to leave this all behind. I see the smoke.
I wanted to bring in the next subject is, and then I got hit with an email and found out that you had cancer in a pretty big way. And I remember just sending out to my prayer teams and things that we needed to get on our knees. And I know that that's just been a really struggle for you. I'd like you to kind of
Well, it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah.
4 years ago, I had some kidney stones. They rushed me to the hospital and took a CT scan, and she came in and she said, "We need to have a conversation. We need to sit down. You need to just stay. You're not going anywhere." And my wife's looking at her and she said, "You've got tumors in both lungs, all over the place." And they said, "You got lung cancer." And I just got her dumbfounded, going, "I thought you said I had kidney stones." She said, "Well, you got the kidney stones. We can see those." And actually, we think it's metastasized to your pancreas. What ended up happening was, by the next Tuesday, they had ran so many tests on me and they ruled out pancreas cancer. They said, "No, pancreatic cancer." I went, "Wonderful." But they went, "You full on have big tumors in both your lungs. This is not good." Well, that put me on a journey. And the journey, what ended up happening to me was, for 4 months, they couldn't determine what it was. I kept getting sicker though.
Yeah.
And then they went, "We don't know what this is. We don't know if it's tuberculosis. We don't know if you're the most infectious person in the world. We're going to quarantine you." So they quarantined me. UCLA went, "Oh, not only are these tumors really bad, you have stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's not lung cancer. We don't know what these tumors are in your lung, but there's something not related to this." And that's why I was getting sicker. I said, "I'm not going to do radiation. I'm not going to do chemo." And every hospital in California turned me down. So I said, "No, I want to get on immunotherapy, and I'd like to do on something cutting edge." So as more hospitals turned me down, UC Davis in Sacramento was the only hospital said, "You do qualify for a clinical trial. We're going to get you on one." And they actually were the cancer center that put me on the road to health. And they were my miracle, because obviously I was pretty shocked. I didn't know how long I was going to be able to live. Everything that they were pronouncing on me, that I thought, wow, we don't know if I'm going to be 3 months, whether I'm going to be here 6 months, or whether I've got 5 years. I really didn't know.
Yeah.
So now it's 10 months after they've done the lung removal stuff. They've gone into my back. They had to take 4 vertebrae out of my back, go into my spine, and remove that tumor. And the one that was on my skeleton, they couldn't touch. So that's why I had to start the immunotherapy. So I'm now 34 months on an experimental drug called Revlimid. And this drug has destroyed my cancer. I am now considered complete remission. So I'm a bit of a walking miracle, I have to say, because even though my miracle was through science and medicine, it still was a miracle.
Yes. People pray for you.
And there have been a tremendous amount of people. And I realized that there's a lot of lymphoma sufferers that don't survive. And it was bad. It was a bad stage 4. But I am clean of no lymphoma. And so I'm a cancer risk, but I claim a real miraculous, freedom from cancer because of the journey that God has put me on.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting stronger. I'm playing music.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Music has been a great healer for me as well.
Uh-huh.
I really believe in the healing properties of music. And I believe that that's one of the miraculous things that God has done with the creation of music. It's meant to be a healer. It's
Amen.
meant to create joy.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I listened to a rock band way back when, and when I first heard them, I was like, I've never heard anything like this. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
This. It resonated so strongly with me that I really didn't want to do anything else in life but do music.
Well, what a blessing you've been able to do it and bless so many
Thank
people.
you.
So, do you want to play some more music?
I would love to play some more of you. You betcha.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
born for that. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
One, two, one, two.
I got a friend whose name is Jesus. He gave his life for all my sin.
All my sins.
I got a friend whose name is Jesus. He gave his life for all my sin.
All my sins.
He came a knocking at my heart, knocked until I let him in.
Come on in.
This friend of mine could be your friend too. He'll always be there when the times are good or bad.
Good or bad.
This friend of mine could be your friend too. He'll always be there when the times are good or bad. He wants to wrap his loving arms around you, give you peace and love like you never had.
Never had.
I thought it broke a string and went out of key.
Mark, I can't thank you enough, man. You've inspired us so much just having you with us. It's really cool having you. But, you know, we're Ma-kai-rah, and Ma-kai-rah means sword. It comes from Hebrews 4:12. It says God's word is sharper than a dual-edged sword. And then we have the Ma-kai-rah X.
Yeah!
And we have a special thing we do after every taping. We have Ma-kai-rah.
Let's eat some pie. That's right.
Oh, yeah. I thought that
We
would be
talked
myself
about
and
that
Irene.
last
Irene
night.
was
Paul
funny.
just played until his fingers slipped.
Look.
About.
Yes, we got to take a picture.
Oh, wow.
We got to take a picture. Thank you.
Yeah,
I've
I
been-
need
do that.
one too.
I've been playing for 50 years almost, and
You bet.
I've never had this kind of
My song don't
calluses.
nobody understand.
All right.
It's because of Coop. No.
The Lord is
I
my
thought I started
light
that
and
off. Did I start that off?
salvation. Whom shall I fear? Whom shall I be afraid? The Lord is my light and salvation. Whom shall I fear? Whom shall I be afraid? 'Cause you are my help, my help, my help. You are my peace, my peace, my peace. You are my joy, my joy, my joy. My strength in thee, my strength in thee. The Lord is my light and salvation. Whom shall I fear? Whom shall I be afraid? The Lord is my light and salvation. Whom shall I fear? Whom shall I be afraid? You are my help, my help, my help. You are my peace, my peace, my peace. You are my joy, my joy, my joy. My strength in thee, my strength in thee. I will wait